Veterans, do you know how to get notified when the VA makes a change to their manual reference? Why is this important? Also, are you able to identify the old reference versus the new reference? In today's video, I am going to explain and give you answers to all three of those questions. Make sure you stick around. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Dwayne. I got a video for that Kimball, United States Army veteran and retired VA rating specialist. Before we get going in today's video, make sure you go ahead and hit that like, subscribe, and notification button. Also, I would like to take this time to thank everyone that attended my annual compensation, VA claim compensation webinar. Had an awesome time, shared a lot of good information, and answered a lot of veterans' questions. So before we get into today's video, a word from one of our sponsors. Veterans, if you're filing a VA disability claim for a mental health condition, you know the process can be frustrating and overwhelming. Having the right evidence can make all the difference. That's where Tampa Counseling and Wellness comes in. They specialize in providing mental health DBQs and Nexus Statements, helping veterans establish direct service connection for mental health conditions or secondary service connection due to issues like tinnitus, migraines, or back problems. The team at Tampa Counseling and Wellness is passionate about supporting those who serve. They understand the VA process and are committed to helping you get the benefits you've earned. If you need expert support for your mental health claim, don't go at it alone. Contact Tampa Counseling and Wellness today. All right, everyone. So how do you get notified when the VA makes a manual reference change? Why is this important? How do you identify the old versus the new? Let's start with the why. If you're still going through this VA compensation claims process and the VA makes a change, it could either help your claim or it could hurt your claim. Now, if it could hurt your claim, you're going to need to know how to pivot. But before you're able to pivot, you have to know what that change is, okay? So I'm going to share with you today one of those changes. Let's go ahead and get into it. Slide number one. Here in slide number one, this is the email that I received July 25th, 2025. If you look in the top right-hand corner, it came through at what? 2:34 p.m., okay? And it states M21-1 Adjudication Procedures Manual Update, okay? And I get these periodically, all right? I would say maybe sometimes 2 or 3 a month, okay? Which is kind of frequent for the VA, okay? Now, on the left, you have the citation. On the right, you have the change. So the second one down is updated guidance on insufficient examination reports. Now, going forward, I'm going to share some of these updates with you. Some could impact your claim, some could not. You're not going to know, but you need to know what these changes are to identify if it does impact what you're doing, okay? So updated guidance on insufficient examination reports. The reason why this one jumped out at me because for the past 2.5 years, I've been talking about what? Actionable insufficient DBQs, also known as examination reports. And I'm like, wait a minute, is this going to impact veterans' claims? So I started to do the research and I was like, I need to let veterans know this, okay? So on the left, the citation M21-1, Part 4, Subpart I, Chapter 3, Section C, insufficient examination, okay? You click on that link. When you click on it, it's going to bring you here, slide number 2. Now, you're not going to immediately see this when you click on this link. You're going to have to scroll all the way down to the bottom, okay? What I have underlined here, July 23rd, 2025, key changes. There's that citation, okay? The number. Right-click on that. Open it up in a new window. I have 2 monitors that I use, so it's easy for me, all right? Then you want to scroll back up until you find the change date for July 23rd, 2025. Put that in the left window. So when you right-click on this link at the bottom, you're going to put that window in the right side monitor, and then you're going to scroll back up on this particular screen, put it in the left monitor if you have 2 screens, all right? It's real easy if you have 2 screens, all right? Because we want to look at the old and the new to see what that change is, okay? Now, let's keep going. Slide number 3. Here in slide number 3, when you scroll back up, this is what you're looking for, okay? You're going to see change date, July 23rd, 2025, okay? And there's the citation, M21-1, 4.I.3.C.1.B, handling insufficient examination reports that were erroneously requested. Let me talk about that for a minute, okay? This is very important. Let's say veteran submits an actionable insufficient DBQ and Nexus statement. You get a call from QTC. In my opinion, as a former VA rater, when they requested that exam, it was erroneously requested because they had sufficient evidence to rate that case, okay? So I don't want to go too far off to the left with that, all right? Now, let's identify what's the change. In the top, you can see I put new and I put old. So you're not going to see it this way. That's why I told you to put, when you open up these links, put them in 2 separate screens, okay? I just, for this particular video, this research I was doing, I just put it all on one, all right, to show you the difference. So look at the top, change date July 23rd, 2025. See on the far right at the top, it says developing a claim for SC, and it's in yellow. SC stands for service connected. Look down at the bottom. The O, it has SC, and then it has a line drawn through service connection. I said service connected, service connection, same thing. So on the O, they spelled out service connection. The update is they just changed it to SC. Minor change, not going to have an impact on your claim. But it could, because that scenario I gave you about them requesting an exam when they shouldn't have, and you say, I don't want to go to that exam, could you use this particular citation, M21-1, when you have that informal conference for an appeal? Okay? Now, I would say it really, it may not have a huge impact because they're talking about handling insufficient examination reports that were erroneously requested. So you have to think about what you're doing with your claim, because every claim is a little bit different. So if you look at these 2 bullet comments, let's just look at them real quick. The examination must be adequate, or the veteran must be notified as to why one will not or cannot be provided. So let's just say you know, for whatever reason, it was an ACE examination, okay? And the examiner did not look at your service treatment records, okay? That would make that exam insufficient and erroneously requested because you already had sufficient evidence, okay? So there could be many scenarios, but again, when you come and you identify and you look at the old and the new, it may not have a major impact, or it could, but a minor impact, but a major impact if you can use this on a high-level review. I know that was kind of confusing, but you know, just keep in mind, Every claim is a little bit different. But again, this is why you need to know this stuff, people. Let's keep going. Slide number 4. Here in slide number 4, this is another change, okay? Look at the citation, July 23rd, 2025. So change date, you'll see these throughout the M21 manual, M21, M21-5-4 manual references, okay? And basically what they did, it says examination report that needs clarification. That's the new. The old, an examination report that needs clarification. Look at report which needs clarification. That was in the old. They put a line through it, through which, and changed it or added the word that, okay? That was it. Again, I will look at these clarification of examination reports, look at the entire information, because you could come across something and be like, man, wait a minute, I didn't know this. I could use this for another condition that they denied, or maybe they lowball, or whatever the case may be. And a lot of times when I'm going through the different manual references, doing research for one video, I may come across a change for an entirely different topic. And I'm like, wait a minute, I can do a video on that, okay? I'm always in the references looking for information, to provide to you, to give you the blueprint to help you with your claim, okay? Let's keep going. Slide number 5. All right, now, how do you get notified? When you come to the M21-1, all right, and I have the link in the description section of this video, you're gonna come to this screen. Now, you're gonna take your mouse over to the left and you're gonna hover over compensation and pension, okay? Don't click on it, just hover over it. When you hover over, you see all these lines pointing towards the right. It's gonna open up, not open, but you're gonna see several other links. Look down at the bottom and you're gonna see subscribe here. When you click on subscribe here, you're gonna come to this screen, okay? You're gonna click on that link there, put your email in, hit submit, and that's it. And you will start receiving the notifications, and they'll look like the email that I received in slide number 1, okay? It's just that simple. Before we wrap up, there's a lot of other information, and you want to pay close attention to where it says compensation and pension. If you hover over that, now you're going to have access to the 38 CFRs, M21-1, -4, -5, other information. And this is where I come, I do the heavy lifting, do the research, and I bring you that information, okay? Now, how do I know that? I still know the trainer's name. When I was a rater, whenever they had these updates, he would give a class. He would give a class and we would go through all of those changes for those particular citations, all right? And he would explain them. People would ask questions, okay? That's how I know how to do these searches. That's how I know how to go through and gather this information to do this video, because I was trained by this particular individual. I worked out at St. Petersburg Regional Office. I think he's still there. His initials are TF. If you're at the St. Petersburg Regional Office and you're still watching, go to him, send him an email if you know who I'm talking about, and tell him thank you. Awesome trainer. He actually showed me how to do keyword searches in the M21-1 so I would not get stuck in that biannual test that we had to take as raters. Every 2 years, we had to take a test, and basically, it's pass or fail. Did we know how to go out and find this information based on the questions that they gave us? It was a 300-word test, okay? So he showed me how to do keyword searches in the M21-1 so I wouldn't get bogged down on one particular question. He did this for all the raters there. Awesome trainer. Now, you need to know this stuff. Like I stated earlier, it could have a minor or major impact on your claim, or no impact at all. But it could have an impact on something else that you're doing. Like I tell veterans, invest the time to educate yourself on this process. I'm doing the heavy lifting and giving you short videos. Now you have to spend the time to dig deep in these references to see if they will have an impact on what you're doing. With that being said, make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification button, and as always, share this video with your fellow veterans. Thank you.